Hello, I am Vedant. I am a legal intern with LEXIS and Company. This video is about a legal update regarding the letter being written by Delhi High Court Bar Association to the Chief Justice of India regarding the proposal of considering the advocates practicing before the Supreme Court for the elevation for the appointment to the judgeship of various high courts. Opposing the proposals submitted by the Supreme Court Bar Association before the Chief Justice of India for considering lawyer practicing in the Supreme Court for elevation as High Court judges, the Delhi High Court Bar Association has written a letter to the Chief Justice of India. In the letter, the Delhi High Court Bar Association said that the attempt to create a distinct class of lawyers practicing before the Honorable Supreme Court for being considered for elevation as judge of the Honorable High Court is not only unfair, arbitrary and discriminatory, but is likely to create a resentment amongst a large number of lawyers in the high courts. This will lead to disgruntlement and demoralization of a large section of the bar. The Delhi High Court Bar Association has also requested the Chief Justice of India to withdraw the directions, if any, given to the Chief Justices of the High Court for consideration of Supreme Court lawyers for judgeship at High Court as proposed by the Supreme Court Bar Association. The issue has its genesis in a communication made by Supreme Court Bar Association earlier this week, in which it said that the CJI has agreed their proposal to consider lawyers practicing before the Supreme Court for elevation as judges to high courts. The Supreme Court Bar Association also claimed that the CJI has agreed to the request made by SCBA and has requested Chief Justices of the High Courts to consider lawyers practicing in the Supreme Court for elevation to their high courts. Without appreciating this move of the Supreme Court Bar Association, the Delhi High Court Bar Association has said it is a disturbing and matter of grave concern to have lawyers practicing in the Supreme Court alone be considered a separate class of advocates to be considered for such distinction. The Delhi High Court Bar Association added that there is no dearth of talented, competent and meritorious lawyers practicing in all the high courts of the country and in the courts subordinate to the high courts. The Delhi High Court Bar Association has taken a strong exception to the statement made by Supreme Court Bar Association that the Supreme Court lawyers are more meritorious. This claim is not only preposterous but in fact humiliates lawyers practicing before the high courts honorable high courts throughout the country. This claim made by the SCBA is not only false and misleading but also undermines the competence and talent of lawyers practicing before various high courts. It is no secret that several well-known jurists have evolved from amongst those exclusively practicing before the high courts. The Delhi High Court Bar Association also expressed disapproval of the search committee constituted by the Supreme Court Bar Association to facilitate the process of elevation by identifying deserving and meritorious Supreme Court practitioners. It pointed out that the practice and procedure for elevating lawyers to the High Court are based on recommendations of the Collegium. If the so-called search committee is to forward the names for consideration by the High Court's collegiums, then why should there are not similar search committees be formed by every High Court Bar Association to identify talented and meritorious candidates and forward their names to the High Court collegium? The Delhi High Court Bar Association asked. The letter was signed by Delhi High Court Bar Association President Senior Advocate Mohit Mathur and Secretary Abhijit. They also said that recommending names of lawyers practicing in the Supreme Court of India for elevation to the High Courts without adequate opportunity to the High Court Collegium to observe and assess their talent, competence and integrity will neither be fair nor just either for the institution or for the talented and deserving lawyers practicing before the High Courts. Such recommendation shall also take away the autonomy of the High Court Collegium to select candidates regularly practicing to adorn the bench of the High Court based on the assessment of their day-to-day performances. The selection of lawyers by High Court Collegium encourages decentralization decision-making process assessed from ground reality, which benefits not only judicial institution of each state but is also in larger public interest. So this was regarding what the Delhi High Court Bar Association said in its letter to the CJI. Thank you.